Hi, welcome to Modern Wall Street Trader Talk, and we're also welcoming back Matt Cheslock, our Thursday guest from the Easter vacation. Matt, hope your vacay was nice.
Yeah, it was nice. I can't say that it's great to be back. I'd rather be down in Florida, but we're back and markets are moving.
Yeah, markets are moving, and it is great to have you back. But I hope you're not offended. We have seen some ups and downs as we got welcomed back from the Easter vacation this week. Now that we have bank earnings out of the way, the expectations are still pretty high for the rest of this earnings season. So have those expectations been met yet in your eyes?
I think so. I think that we're focusing a little too much on Goldman and their earnings, and I think that was probably a one-off event. I'm not gonna say that's going to be a trend. I think the other earnings from J.P. Morgan and Morgan Stanley and Bank of America were all pretty good, and the market really, really reacted favorably to those earnings. We saw yesterday was a little bit of oil. When oil was down 4%, the market took another leg lower. We haven't seen IBM move the market like it did in quite a long time yesterday. So we kind of had some maybe one-off events. While IBM's been 20 quarters of disappointing numbers, that was really a market mover that we haven't seen in a long time.
Right, and speaking of the majors, they are still off their highs that we saw earlier this year, which is signaling some sort of pessimism has entered the markets. Now, as my contrarian, I'm sure that when some people go in one direction, you see value in another. So could you let us in on that?
Well, I think that the transports were one that signaled yesterday while the Dow was down big. So Dow was a little bit of an outlier because the S&P was down small and the NASDAQ was actually up. Russell was up. Yesterday the transports were strong, and today we saw earnings out of CSX last night that were very good, and the transports are strong today. That could be the next leader to take us to another high or to get back to highs. We've only seen a 2% retracement, so it's not been too bad. So I would look at the transports. That might be the forecast for what's going on.
Okay, awesome. The drivers of the markets. No pun intended. Now, Matt, since we covered equities, I'd like to cover economic action now. Since we last spoke, we were expecting that March non-farm payrolls number to come in well above 100,000. That obviously did not happen. We're also seeing a flattening of the yield curve, and our Federal Reserve seems pretty stubborn on those interest rate hikes scheduled for the year. So what do you make of those two?
Well, I think we're locked into the interest rate hike cycle. I think we're in there. I saw the number went down from 62 to 40% as far as a June rate hike. So maybe we don't get 2 to 3, maybe we get 1 to 2. But I think that gives them leverage going forward if the economic cycle were to weaken and they could cut again. So I think that's why they're forcing that. We also have a lot of economic or geopolitical issues, not only with the French election, the UK election, but we have those issues in North Korea and Syria. So there's a lot the Fed's dealing with, and then they added on the fact that they want to, start maybe unwinding their position. So there's a lot the Fed's dealing with, but I think as far as the rate hike cycle, the data is there. I think the economy is okay. The optimism's there. The business is good. First quarter and second quarter are probably going to be good. So I think they're still in, a tightening cycle.
Thank you, Matt. Now, just sticking with the yield curve and sticking with bonds, what do you think about those 50 and 100-year bonds being discussed right now? I mean, could the issuance of those put faith back into the Trump agenda, reflate the reflation trade?
Well, I think that's another new market, and that's why they're doing it. You always need new investment ideas and places to put your money. So if you're a believer, that's why people want maybe a bit of a longer term. But right now it's probably just discussions. I think everyone right now is so focused on the short term, it's hard to believe someone's going to go 50, 100 years out.
I know. It's hard to believe, but Matt, thank you so much. Glad to have you back on the show. We love your insight and hope to see you next week.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.